Hi, Malishka. Welcome to Sunrise Radio. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Anushka. I'm doing fabulously well. I've worn my Indian bindi and my nose pin, everything to just like give you a glimpse of back home and what happens here.
I'm so glad that we have not just Red FM's number one RJ, but India's number one RJ here with us for this very special 36-hour radio show that I am doing. And I just thought...
And what a fabulous thing you're doing. First of all, Anushka, let me thank you. I've told people back home here in India about your... about what you're doing, your 36 hours and the cause you're doing it for, and we discussed the cause. And I think it's fabulous. More power to you, girl.
Thank you so much. And I was just like, what can we do? Because I'm also producing the show as well by myself. So I was like, what can we do to get some form of connect back home from India? Because we have lots and lots of listeners from India, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, all over the world. So I just thought, I was like, you know what? Malishka would be really, really good for this.
That is amazing of you.
I really wanted to just speak to you about your journey in radio and how did you first get into it? What happened? What was your first step? And how was it into the studios?
So I think I like to think I was a kind of quiet, shy person, though the world tells me I wasn't. But I think I was. I mean, internally. So I remember thinking I was funny in my head, but I didn't speak out as much. And I was in St. Xavier's College in that first year when Radio Malhar started. I just actively gusoed, and then I went and I did my thing. And whenever I could, I would take to the stage to talk. I think I realized I was bigger. I was great with larger groups of people. Like, you can put me on a stage and it'll be great. And maybe I'm shy one-to-one. So I started testing the waters there. Yeah, and then they started having auditions. And so I went out for the audition. And there used to be lines, like there were lines in Bombay. I'm not kidding you. Like the Ration Ka line, where there used to be lines because people would line up for the audition. And I got through one radio station, which was like one of the larger ones in the city, but a very small radio station back then called Win 94.6. Also heard me out, and they said, "You're fab." They said, "You're fab." And they said, "You should join us." And they offered me a job immediately. And so you're like 20 something. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. And so I joined them, and then the other radio station called me and said, "Hey, we've shortlisted you." But I was like, no, now I've already said yes. So when I think back of the girl I was, and I'm very glad I did what I did, because it was not easy to say no to the larger radio station with the plum space, but I felt right. That radio station shut down like 2 years later. And then I didn't want to go back. Like people say, they were wooing me, different radio stations. Now I'm like, finally I joined Red FM, and I said, okay, this is what it's going to be like, but I'm going to be chaos. I'm not going to be peace, because like I want lots of stuff to happen. And it did, it's been like 15 years now. And I cannot believe it, because it just went by in the blink of an eye. Radio can be, what kind of a medium it is. It's the same every day, but it's not the same every day. You're in a new universe every day. And the most fabulous part is, what I realized over time is when you can get the world you can connect the world with new things and make a difference. I think that's my most favorite part about radio.
For sure. Malishka, 15 years is a very, very long time in the industry. Yeah. And another 100 to go for you, I'm sure. But Malishka,
like my colleague said, one day we will find you dead on the console.
Same here. It's so funny because I can really resonate with some of the stuff you're saying. Like you said, you connect more with a larger audience, and you're somewhat shy or a little bit more reserved with like on a one-to-one. I'm exactly the same. Like, you've hosted weddings, you've hosted concerts, you've done so much, but I think that high of having a larger audience and just that noise that you hear, it's just like, it's such a buzz, right?
Also, nobody can talk back at you. You're like, my thoughts are clear. I'm putting it out there. Don't give me conversation. That's not what I'm looking for right now. Let me just tell you. Because in conversations, I'm like, okay, let me listen to what people are saying. So I'm mostly a listener there.
Yeah.
So when I can on the radio, I'm like,
And we love that. Malishka, in the 15 years, what would you say has been like, I know it's hard to choose probably one highlight of your career, but tell me some of your highlights. Like, what have you, when you look back and you're just like, man, that was amazing.
There have been so many amazing things. You know, the thing about radio, like, you know, Anushka, it's not like a newspaper. It's not even like something that's chup out forever. You've said it, it's over and it's done. I just feel that radio needs a lot more presence. It needs a lot more representation in that. You've done something fabulous and it's gone. It's in your archive or it's not archived. And in those small instances, you end up changing lives. You end up changing a city. You end up, I don't know, stopping somebody from committing suicide, for example, because that's what's happened. Like, people have called me and said, you know, I was listening to you and I wanted to end my life, and just listening to you changed my perspective. And I was like, or divorces, or these are smaller things, but to be a voice for the people, because that's what I pride myself on most, while having lots of fun. Like, if you listen to my show in Bombay, half the time you'll see that we're laughing at stuff, me with my team. And when it's serious, I love the fact that we take it up and the city takes it seriously. That if this group of people is talking to us about it, then it's a, you know, it's a real issue. But I can tell you a few things that just top of mind. I love doing this thing called Bajao for a Cause. Okay, so Red FM 93.5. When you're in Mumbai, please listen to us.
I do, by the way. I do listen to you guys. I've been to your
online.
studio. I've been.
Yes.
You know who
Yes.
I came? You remember when Preetham was in the Big Boss house?
Of course.
Yeah.
Like,
so I came shortly after that season. I was in Bombay. So I'd come to the Red FM studios at that time.
So, you know, it's a vibrant studio. It still has those ladybug patterns on the floor.
Yeah.
So, so we used to do Red FM 93.5. Bajate Raho is the tagline. Okay.
Yeah.
Bajate Raho has different meanings. The most tame meaning is keep it playing. Like bajana means playing.
Yeah.
But of course, that's not what it means, right? Like it means also like, hey, take it on and talk about it. Like, you know. Yeah. So that's what we live by. But then it could also come across as a very harsh. And it's not that. It's not like I'm going to be rude or irreverent maybe, but not like I'm going to be rude to you. So there was to put forward the softer side of the radio station, which it is, right? It's all heart as well. We did this thing called Bajao for a Cause. So what we do is, like, once a year, I pick up a cause and we get the whole city to contribute towards it while talking about it. So whether it's, say, commercial sex workers, the education of their kids. We collected like 1 crore rupees in 3 weeks.
Wow.
And this is Mumbai pledging that money only on the basis of listening to you on the radio. That's a big deal. Or Chai for Cancer, or School Equals Lunch, or CCDT. These are all different causes that we took up for kids and senior citizens. And so people pitch in. So I remember it was my 10th anniversary. And we put this out to the city that you give me a challenge, and if I do it, I pay you 10,000 rupees. Wow. How great is radio, Anushka?
That's so
like
good.
You give me a challenge, I do it. Like, people are like, okay, eat mirchi, or go jogging through Dharavi, or hold rats in your hand and do a show. And I'm petrified. I'm like mortified. So all those things. So one of the things was go jogging to Dharavi, and the kids in Dharavi, when I met them, they were playing music, and they told me, they said, you know, we would like to perform before Amitabh Bachchan. So for a second, I was like, ab ye main kaise? And then you know, that's what I'm saying. You need to get out of your head. And I was like, oh, Malishka, you're that person. You can, if you can't get it done,
make it happen.
Who can? You can make it happen. You can at least try. So I wrote a mail to Mr. Bachchan the very same day. And the very same day, before I could leave the radio station, there was a reply from his office. And they said, you know, actually Mr. Bachchan wrote back and said, write to so-and-so. And they actually connected back and they said, you're performing next week. So within a week or so, these kids from Dharavi who had this dream that we want to perform in front of this superstar were at his house with their drums and with their makeshift. They made instruments out of plastic bottles with pebbles in it. And it was like a concert. It was so great. Mr. Bachchan enjoyed it so much because it's not every day he gets to.
Of course.
So I figured that we're connectors. We're literally those people who connect people and make life joyous. That is one of my favorite memories, but there are many like that.
That's awesome. So Malishka, in this entire pandemic, when the pandemic hit, how did you guys like react to it as a radio station, as a radio jockey? What did you guys do?
So the first thing was we figured that the Mumbai railways that hasn't stopped from time immemorial since it stopped. But radio went on. You know, we were there every day actively, not necessarily at the station, maybe from our homes, and we're not the news. So how else can we handhold the city? We went into that gear immediately. Like, what can we do? I remember having conversations with colleagues, friends, connected with radio, different radio stations as well, about how we can help. The first thing I did is I got connected with the government, because I keep forgetting that that's what I can do. So I connected with people in the government, and I said, how can we help? And it was quite something, because at that point when there was a lockdown and food wasn't available, or shops weren't open, ration wasn't available, I remember connecting people from the government to these representatives in various places, and they would take cartloads of food and go to these places. I will never forget that, because I would be speaking to somebody, would call me and say, you know, from an area where there wasn't enough food, and she would say, can you send someone here? And then I would connect with them and say, okay, we're going to do this. So I would literally connect them. We would shoot it. Sometimes somebody would go and get it shot, or I would tell the guys who were giving the food away to shoot it. They were very happy to shoot it.
Yeah, of course.
So there was a lot of connection where food was concerned. There was a lot of connection where testing was concerned. There were people in different buildings saying, you know, we're stuck here, we don't know what to do. Or there are people that are moving all over the place and it's a little scary. So a lot of those connections happened in the beginning. A lot of stories went up on the radio, a lot of help. I really believe that a lot of connections happened because people needed help. Okay, this person needs help here, this person needs help here. And while doing that, it was a little depressing, because we were on the air every day giving out stats. Oh gosh, it was horrid, Anushka. Like, I'm sure it was the same. The world connected in a way we haven't connected before, because I mean, how different can radio be in London, for example, when the whole world is, I'm sure you were doing the same thing, right? Okay, these many cases today, this is what we're doing, and keeping the mood upbeat and keeping the people buoyant. That's what we did for the most part of it. Suddenly there were no interviews.
It's such a weird time, but I do feel, like you said, radio just kept going. And I think in a pandemic, I think this was like the beauty. I mean, we were coming to work every day anyway. We were doing our jobs. This is pre-COVID. But then this pandemic just made you realize, you know what? Radio didn't stop. It didn't stop. It kept going. And
I was very proud.
I loved that. I really did. I was like, you know, one day I just sat there and I was like, you know what? Like, you just feel really important, and you feel like you not just important, but you feel like you're actually helping.
You're contributing. You're adding. That at a time when people are so helpless that you actually can help, and that's a huge responsibility. Also, the other thing we realized back home was, because I'm drive time, right? I'm in the morning, so a lot of the times you're imagining people in cars listening to you.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, there were no cars.
Nobody.
And yet there were people connecting to me from their homes, because everyone was in their house, from their little chawls and high rises and whatever it is. And I realized, wait a minute, people are listening in their homes. That's how they realized, hey, she can help. And that's how they were connecting. And there were people who, like, if there was this woman who would call me and say Meena, okay, actually it was her name. So because she connected with me and her whole area got rations, she became a star in the area, right? And I was saying her name on the radio. And so she would call me back to say, you have no idea, people are listening to my name on the radio, and I have become Messiah in the space, and everyone's so thankful. So you're making many heroes as well. It's a beautiful medium.
It really is. It really is. Now, Manishka, we're really running out of time, but just last question. I mean, you have done so much, not just for radio, but for TV, live events, whatever it may be, anything. I mean, what sort of stuff are you working on now that we've kind of accepted the situation that we're in? We understand what's going on with this pandemic, and, you know, we're kind of living this new life. In terms of your attitude towards work now and the stuff that you're working on, tell me a little bit about that quickly.
So work either expanded to fill time or went the other way around. There are people who are dying. They're like, you know, we need 8 days in a week. And this is during the pandemic. That's what happened to me as well in the beginning. It was crazy, because suddenly you're not just the talent. You became the DOP, you became the photographer, the makeup artist, the videographer, the script writer. You had to literally keep your camera and what somebody else would do, and the camera would fall. And you'd be like, oh my God, but I just recorded. So that happened a lot. And then I decided to not just chill out on that. I also decided that I would explore things that I was putting on the back burner. So I did a course in Adi Shakti. I don't know whether it's a theatre course in Pondicherry. And so, I just went off and I did that. I took the spaces that I wanted to go to. I went, I did those things. Theatre has always been a passion. Acting has always been a passion apart from what we do. Interestingly, during the pandemic, August onwards, I was shooting. I got this brand new show, and this is a Nat. Okay, it's a Marathi thing. So once you wear the Nawari and everything, it's not a regular thing. So we're doing this thing called the Marathi Film Festival, and that's why I was shooting for it. So I got a brand new show in a brand new medium because I've never really done Marathi. I speak the language, thodka. But I did a whole, I was a judge on a dance reality show for women. It was called Size Large Full Charge. So it was a Vazandar show. So it was women who haven't got representation before, right? Because dancing was, it's always the thin women who got this. So these were beautiful women, like full-bodied women dancing. And I was very happy to be part of that. So that happened mid-pandemic. I thanked my stars. It's not something that everyone gets, to do a brand new medium. So I decided to take that forward and do things that I earlier was a little scared to do, or I was like, this is not my cup of tea. Like acting is something I've always wanted to do. Now I go out of my way and I tell people, hey, who's listening? Hey, in London, that I am an actor and that I want to act. So that's the next step that I'm taking, doing some theatre work. While of course doing a lot of radio work and taking everything slow and steady, because life used to be very, very fast and so crazy. Now it isn't like that anymore because we're not even going to work every day.
Exactly.
So you get a lot of time to work on your inners, your internals, do your inner work. A lot of that has happened, and I think people like us, when we do it, we influence the world. So why not?
Absolutely. Malishka, listen, thank you so much. It was awesome speaking to you and having you part of this marathon. I can't wait to just meet you in person, either when you're in London or when I come to Bombay next. Yay!
Yes. Since you're making me famous in London, maybe I will come to London. Thank you so much, Anushka.
Please do. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Malishka.
More power to you. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. You too. Girl power.
I know. Mutual Admiration Society. Big hug.
Big hug. Take care. Bye.
Bye, Anushka. All the best. Bye.